Hello everyone, my name is Beth and this is my Flosstube channel, Busy Bee Stitches, and I'm here with quite the update. I have my stitching from August and September to show you. Right around the time that I should have been filming my August video, I got COVID. So by the time I was midway through September, I decided to wait and give you a monster video. Because spoiler alert, my August stitching was ridiculous. There's so much here. I can't wait to show it to you. So let's just jump right into it. I'm gonna do all of August first and then I'll do September because there was no overlap of projects. So I'll show you everything I stitched in August and then everything I stitched in September, and then all the other goodies after that. So starting with an overview of August. August was my second best stitching month so far this year. July was the best, and then August was almost as good. I stitched, let's see, I stitched 81 hours in August, and in July I stitched over 100. So, still, 81 is excellent. And I stitched almost 12,000 stitches in August. I stitched 25 days out of 31, and I worked on 12 projects. I worked on 12 projects in August, which for me lately is a lot. I would say I probably worked on like 3 to 5 projects in a month lately. And so 12 feels like a lot. I had 2 starts and 2 finishes. So I started the month with 30 active whips and I finished with 30 active whips. I did a ton of goals in my whip rotation in August. Sorry, I gotta keep track of which month I'm talking about. In August, I worked on so many goals in my whip rotation. That was pretty much my focus, was just cranking out goals. I had spent so much time working on frogwarts and not that that's not valuable, but like not working toward my stitching goals in July, and so in August being able to put everything else aside and just work on whip rotation was awesome. It was so freeing, it was so awesome. And I also worked on quite a few things in my do stuff rotation, which I will get to much later in the video, but yeah, so August was a great month. Let's dive in to showing you the stitching. As usual, I'm going to show you in order of my most worked to least worked projects. So starting off strong with the Woodland Sal by Doreen Jones, and that one was a 1,500 stitch goal because I started that in 2020. So I'll put a picture here of what that will look like when it's finished. And here's what it looks like now. So I had some of the bunny to finish, and then all of the weasel was new stitching in August. I gotta tell you, this project is dense. I think I've said this before about this project, but this project is so shockingly dense. The fact that I stitched 1,500 stitches and like didn't even come close to finishing this weasel. There's still so much left in him, plus back stitching. And then there's one more animal in the top row, which if you remember, if you've been watching me for a little while, last year my goal was to finish a whole row, and clearly I didn't do that. So maybe this year it'll happen, but also I'm feeling like probably not. I love it though. I love this project so much. Stitching it is a bit challenging because it's very confetti heavy, and so I really find myself having to like mark my stitches every 2-3 stitches to keep track of where I am. But honestly, it's worth it because it looks so good. And I'm stitching that on the called for printed Lugana that was available through Lakeside Needlecraft, where the sale was run. Okay, next was another 1500 stitch goal. This is Owl Forest. I'll put a picture of what this will look like finished. This is Owl Forest. Sorry, this is 100 Owls by Owl Forest Embroidery. And so I worked on Woodland Sal for almost 13 hours and 100 Owls for almost 10. So clearly, in order to get approximately the same number of stitches, it took me quite a bit longer in Woodland Sal than it did in 100 Owls. So, see, this is why I love to track it. It's so interesting to me. All right, here's what this looks like now. I'm trying to remember what I worked on. I think I worked pretty much on this little middle bit right there. I'm not even close to halfway done with this project. Not even close. It's a beast. And I'm doing it on 40 count, so like it doesn't feel as big as it really is. But it's big. It's big and dense, and it's gonna take me another several years, I'm sure, to finish. But it looks so good. Next, I stitched on this for, my goal was 1,000 stitches, but I ended up stitching a little over that because I stitched to a finish. This is Peace on Earth by Cottage Garden Samplings, and I worked on this for 8.5 hours, and I only did half of what the original piece is. So I'll put a picture of what the original is. And I intentionally cut it in half because I didn't want to do the whole thing. And that's what it looks like. All the called for flosses. It's on a Picture This Plus. I want to say tarnish, but I'm not 100% sure. 40 count. I'm so happy with it. I love how it turned out. I love how the like cut along the middle ended up. I just think this is super, super cute. So that was my first finish of the month. Next, I worked on Janeway by Happy Sloth. I'll put a picture of what that will look like finished. This was a 1,000 stitch goal because I started it in 2021. And get my needle minder out of the way. Here's what she looks like now. So finally getting a little bit more detail going on in her. She's gonna be big. I don't think I really realized how big she was gonna be, but she's gonna be like there probably. But she looks kind of weird right now, honestly. With all of the white. I gotta get some more colors in there so that like the shading of her face starts coming in and it starts looking less weird. But that's where that project is now. Doing this on like a 32 count even weave, I think. Do I have the card in here? Yes, I do. On a Color and Cotton 32 count Lugana in Nightshade. Next was a start and finish for August. I don't have the name of the designer in front of me of this project. I'll put it on the screen if I remember. This is a quote from a song from Wicked, from For Good. And it says, "So much of me is made of what I learned from you." And it has Elphaba's hat and Glinda's wand. And I stitched this as a celebration of the 20-year anniversary of meeting my best friend. And this song is extremely special to our friendship. And when I saw it, I knew that I had to stitch it. And that I maybe even had to stitch one for her too, although not this year, because this year, not allowed to stitch gifts. But she's a stitcher now too, so maybe she'll get to it herself, I don't know. But I really wanted to do something special for the anniversary of meeting her. We were immediately best friends, immediately. We met when we were 11, and I love how this turned out. I did change the pink from the called for, but only slightly. I just picked a slightly different one. The called for was like a little purpley, and I wanted it a little bit more like Barbie pink. So I can't say that the quality of this chart was awesome. It was definitely like a stitch fiddle type of pattern, but you know, it's not like it was big or complicated, so it wasn't hard to navigate. So I worked on that for 7.5 hours in August, and it was just over 1,000 stitches. Another 1,000 stitch goal is Gathering Berries by Luminous Fiber Arts. I'll put a picture here of what that will look like finished. This was a 2021 start, but a 2022 restart, I believe. I think it was 2022 that I restarted it. I started it on 40 count, and I actually have it here. I started it on 40 count, and I didn't like it. First, I didn't like the fabric is like kind of yellowy, which I didn't like. It's like very khaki, and also you can't really see it in the camera, but I didn't love the coverage that I was getting with the silk on 40 count. So I switched to a piece of, I believe it's a 32 count Color and Cotton Lugana. I don't know if I have the tag in here. Ooh, I don't think I have the tag. But this one has more of like a pinky undertone, and it's just like suits the project so much better. And it's 2/2 instead of 1/2. So this is what it looks like now. And 1,000 stitches on this made a ton of progress. So I would say I'm probably about halfway done now. It is so cute. Next, I worked on Dorothy's Discovery. This, I think, let me double check. Yeah, so this I worked on because I spun it in my rotation in July, at the very end of July, and I was having so much fun on it, I didn't want to stop. So I kept working on it at the beginning of August. So it looks like the first 2 days of August, I worked on this some more. So I added another like 800 stitches onto what my goal was. So, I got too excited. I love this project so much. So I'll post a picture of what this will look like finished. I am doing my own silk conversion. I'm just picking out silk that I feel like would look good. And I gotta say, it's looking real good. So that's what it looks like now. This dress is just like so much fun. I did not finish the dress, but I came close. And I really wanted to like exercise the 3 blues that I had picked to make sure that they were working well together. And they absolutely are. So that pleases me immensely. And I'm stitching this, see if I have the fabric card in here. Oh, hold on. I'm stitching this on a piece of Frieze by Atomic Ranch, 16 count Aida. And it never shows up on camera, but it has some very subtle green modeling, which is just perfect. So I worked on that for 6 hours in August. Next was Little Women. I'll post a picture of what that will look like here. And this is by Stitching Book Club. And this was also a 1,000 stitch goal because I started it in 2021. And I worked on this for about 6 hours in August. And here's where that got me. I worked primarily on the house, which I really did not want to stop working on. I had so much fun stitching on this house. I have so much extra fabric for this project, you guys. Drowning in fabric here. Hold on, let's see if I can tame it a little bit. Okay, there you go. That's much better. So I worked primarily on the house. I would say I'm probably more than halfway done. And I would love to finish this project. Probably not this year, but early next year. I would love to. I'm stitching this on a piece of 20 count Aida and loving it. I am obsessed with 20 count Aida right now. Next, I worked on Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery. Put a picture of what that will look like finished. While I jam this project back into its project bag. I worked on Fruits of Plenty for about 6 hours in August, and this was a 1,000 stitch goal because I started it in 2021. Worked on a lot of 2021 projects in August. This is another project that feels like it's going at an absolute snail's pace because of how big and dense it is. I have to just completely hide behind it. There you go. That's what it looks like now. And I worked almost entirely over here. I'm working off of Pattern Keeper now, so I'm not really going page by page anymore. So you can see I started like bringing it down here. You're gonna start seeing like not pretty page by page progress anymore on this. I'm just gonna go where I feel like going. And this is on 40 count linen. I am so hungry, you guys. I had to capitalize on the opportunity to film this now while I had my stuff all together, but I'm so hungry. I can't wait to eat dinner when I'm done. Okay, next was my second new start of August. I started this for my Do Stuff rotation. For anyone not familiar with my rotations, I have my whip rotation that I stitch projects at random, and then I have a stitch goal based on when I started the project. And then I have my Do Stuff rotation, which is to push me out of my comfort zone to try new things. A combination of cross-stitch related, cross-stitch adjacent things, and also like totally unrelated to cross-stitch crafts. But so I spun on my Do Stuff rotation to try out a stamped cross stitch kit. So this is what I started. It is by Maydeer Cross Stitch. So the way that this works is that the pattern is printed on the fabric, and then when you're totally done, you wash it off. And so then you won't see the symbols through your stitching anymore. So I worked on this for 5.5 hours in August. And here's my progress up here in the corner. Sometimes with this project, with these kinds of projects, it can be hard to like see your progress over top of the stamping, but I think on this project, I think you can see it pretty well, but in case you can't, that's how much I've done. And this was really interesting for me. There were things that I loved about it and things that I didn't love so much about it. I first found that some of the symbols are like hard to tell what they are, and like hard to tell the difference between certain symbols. There's like a purple color and a black color that look very similar. And so like sometimes I was really second guessing if I was stitching with the right color. This did come with like a printed pattern as well, so once or twice I've had to double check. So that's kind of annoying. It kind of defeats the purpose of not having to look at a pattern. All the symbols are like down here. The other thing that I have found really annoying is that the fabric is so stiff that I couldn't really get it wrangled into my Q-snap. Like I could get it in there, but then I couldn't really like roll the fabric up and like control it into a grime guard. So I've been stitching it in hand. But I did get some advice by my friend Christine that if you like really like crumple this up quite a bit and like really manipulate the fabric, that it'll get pretty soft and be totally doable in a Q-snap after that. So, and I confirmed with her, I'm like, that doesn't rub off any of the symbols, and she said, no, it's totally fine. So, that's what I'm gonna try to do next. Now, the other thing that has been kind of annoying to me is that one of the primary symbols, there are these like orange and yellow like solid squares, and there's a lot of orange and yellow stitching in this project. So once I've stitched other symbols, then the like plain orange and yellow squares kind of hide from me. So I think in the future as I go, like you probably cannot tell, there are some unstitched orange squares in there. And the orange square is not like an orange floss. So it's kind of silly. But I think as I go forward, I'm gonna do the orange and yellow solid square stitches first so that they don't get lost. And finally, the last thing that I'm not loving about this is that I count my stitches. I count my stitches for everything that I stitch. And because I'm not going off of a pattern, the way I usually count my stitches is that I will highlight on the pattern what I've done, and then I will count those stitches as I highlight. And I just use my calculator. And so I can't do that with this because I'm not crossing off on a pattern. Woo! My needle minder magneted to my table. Okay, that's better. So I've just sort of been like counting as I go, but with my ADHD, that is impossible. I cannot keep track of whether I've counted something or was about to count something. It's truly impossible. So I might just not count the stitches for this project. I don't know. That makes me feel sad. So I don't know. On the upside, I think stitching on this project has been really interesting. I like that for the most part I don't need to look at the pattern, and I like that like all of it is just like really self-contained because it came in the kit, and all the kit floss is really well labeled, so it's easy to find what I need. So for all of that, I'm really enjoying working on it, and the project itself is looking really pretty. So we will see as I go. I know I didn't pick like a small project to try this out on, but so we'll see as I go if I sort of get the hang of it and will be interested in doing another stamped one, or if this is going to be my first and last. Okay. Next in August, I worked on Peace and Light by Satsuma Street. Here's what that will look like finished. I worked on that for a 500 stitch goal because I started it in 2022. And here's what I got. Let's just making sure that was upright. I'm stitching this on, I believe, the called for fabric, 16 count Ada Mystic from Picture This Plus, and all the called for flosses, and it's freaking gorgeous. I cannot say enough how much I love this project. And finally, we've made it to the end of August. Finally, for under an hour of stitching, this is 130 stitches, I worked on Silver Moon Sampler, let's try that again. I worked on Silver Moon Tea by Mirabilia. Here's what that will look like finished. I most likely worked on this for Fancy Lady Friday, and probably had other things that I was working on during the day, and then in the evening I just like worked on this for a tiny little bit. Honestly, I could not tell you where I worked on. I really have no idea. I probably worked on the moon, but really I don't know. Maybe one day I will get to an interesting part of this project. I've worked on this project like a lot of times, but a small amount each time I work on it, because I try to work on it on the first Friday of every month, but I've really only done about half of the months. But it hasn't come up in my whip rotation yet. So hopefully when it comes up in my whip rotation, I think it'll get 500 stitches, so at least you'll see a larger chunk of progress. Okay, so that was August. Let's talk about my September projects. So in September, I stitched for way less than in August, primarily because I had COVID. I stitched very little while I had COVID, and I think part of that was I was sleeping a lot. I didn't feel super bad, but I was just tired. I was sleeping a lot, and I was confined to my bedroom, which I just don't stitch super great in the position that I have to be on my bed. Like my legs go numb super fast, and I don't have enough light, and I don't I don't know. I don't like it. And then I also was working on a project that was not calling to me super strongly while I had COVID. So as a result of that, I didn't stitch like the most amount in September. I stitched for 42 hours and a little under 6,000 stitches. So like half of what I stitched in August. I stitched on 22 days out of 30, so definitely less than August, but primarily the days that I did stitch, I was stitching for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whereas in August, those days were like 2, 3, 4 hours. I only worked on 6 projects in September, and I did start one project, so I went from 30 active whips to 31. So, without further ado, the project that I worked on the most was Autumn Quakers by Rosewood Manor. I'll put a picture there of what that will look like finished. This had a 2,000 stitch goal because I started this in 2019. This is one of my oldest whips. This is my 3rd oldest whip. I started this like right before Galleria, I think, in 2019. I worked on this for almost 15 hours in September. So here's what that looks like now. So this is what I had been spun for the time that I had COVID. And yes, could I have worked on something else? Obviously, yes, I could have. But I was really trying to force myself to work on this, and honestly, working on it in the like small pieces that I was feeling up to was probably not a bad thing, because it is no secret that I don't like stitching on this project. I love how this looks. I think it looks incredible. It looks incredible far away. I don't love how it looks super up close, but we all know that you're not supposed to judge a project this close to your face. Really the reason I hate working on this project is the Valdani thread. I hate the Valdani thread. I hate everything about it. I hate how it feels. I hate how it looks. I hate how it stitches up. I hate everything about it. But it makes my project pretty, so I'm gonna push through and finish it, of course. But boy, do I dislike working with it. So the 2,000 stitch goal was hard. It was hard. But I also like really appreciate having forced myself to do that, because getting the progress on this and like seeing it get closer and closer and closer to being done really excites me and makes me want to work on it more. So, and shout out to my friend Janelle, who found me some Valdani floss that I'm gonna finish, because I bought the floss for this like all kitted up together from Cece's, from Cece & Company from in Kansas City, and I'm running out of one of the colors. I have not checked yet. I don't know how close the dye lots are to what my friend was able to find me, but thank you very much, Janelle, for finding that for me, because I was looking online and I really couldn't find anyone that carries Valdani, and I didn't want to buy like a full kit of all the floss for this project because I didn't think I was going to run out of everything, and it was going to be like a stupid amount to buy one spool from the Valdani website and ship it to me. So thank you, Janelle. Okay, moving on. This project does not have a name, so I call it Ancestors. This is by Emma Congdon, Stitchrovia. I'll put a picture of what this will look like finished. This is from her like Earth Day book. And this was a 1,000 stitch goal because I started it in 2021. Here's what it looks like now. I worked on this for 7.5 hours in September. And I am stitching this 1/1 on 20, I want to say 28 count. Do I have the thing? I don't have my fabric thing. I think it's 28 count. Lugana. And if you ever want to stitch something 1/1 on a smaller count, I highly recommend Lugana over linen because it's more even and it's beautiful to stitch with. I loved stitching on this project. Loved, loved, loved. I did have to, the way the book is laid out, the split between pages is really hard to read. And at first glance, like, it doesn't line up right because the first page is like formatted differently than the other 3. And I had to do some photoshopping to connect them all up so that they would line up. And now I can stitch more comfortably on it. Next, I worked on the Pandemic Sampler by Sarcy Girl. I'll put a picture of what that will look like finished. I stitched on this for 7 hours. I was working toward a 1,000 stitch goal, but not from my whip rotation. This has not been spun yet on my whip rotation. I'm playing a game with some friends, a cross stitch challenge, and so this is the project that I had to work on for that. Usually I get to work on whatever I want and just put my stitches toward my goal. But this particular instance, I had to work on a particular project, and it was this one. So here's the progress that I made. I worked on pulling the border across and then adding this flower and the crow. This border, y'all, is freaking beefy. There is so much border. Each of these little flowers is 80 stitches. Christine? Holy crap. But it's gorgeous though. It's freaking gorgeous. So, absolutely worth it. 1000%. I kind of felt like, especially because we're nearing the end of the year and coming crunch time on my whip rotation, I almost counted this because it was the exact amount that I needed for my whip rotation. I almost counted this as having been called, even though it wasn't officially called. But I didn't, but I still might. We'll see. If this gets called again in November, then I'll work on it. If it doesn't get called in November, I'm probably just gonna count it as that I did it in September. Because in December, I'm probably gonna be doing winter and Christmas stitching and wanting to focus on that. So that's probably what I'll do. Then for almost 6 hours, I worked on a new start. This is Gatekeepers by, I don't remember the name of the designer. I'll put it here on the screen. And I started this to celebrate the wrapping up. We had our almost last session of my D&D Party's current campaign. We're doing a very spooky campaign. We've been going for like 3 years, so we did our second to last session this past week, and we're probably going to do our last session at the beginning of November. So this project is super fitting for the vibe, and I really thought it would be fun to celebrate that with a cross stitch. So that's what I'm working on. Peep my adorable dragon needleminder. Very fitting. And I got this piece of fabric at Galleria just a couple of weeks ago, and I lost the fabric tag somewhere in my house. It's somewhere, I just don't remember where. So next time I show this, I'll try to remember to tell you what the fabric is. But it's beautiful. It has like some pink and blue modeling, but it's primarily like gray and stormy. I love it. It's absolutely perfect for this project. Next, for almost 5 hours, I worked on Harry Potter Covers Collage by Fox and Teacup. I'll put a picture here. Please note that I'm doing the unattributed version because screw J.K. Rowling. And here's my progress. I have been working in the second page of Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm working each row of pages all the way across, and then and so I'm going book by book across. So I'm in Prisoner of Azkaban now. It's finally looking like something now, which I like. This has yet to be called in my whip rotation. I worked on this, I think, on Back to Hogwarts Day. And so I'm really excited for this to come up in my whip rotation because it'll get 2,000 stitches, which will hopefully be quite a bit of progress. But we all know with full coverage, sometimes you're disappointed by how much work you did for how little progress. Every stitch is a stitch though, right? It's all gotta go in. All right, and finally, for 2 hours in September, I worked on Rainbow Blackwork by Peppermint Purple. Here's what that will look like finished. Harry Potter covers, by the way, is my oldest whip. This Rainbow Blackwork is my second oldest whip. And here's what it looks like now. I really just worked on the third row of outlines, and then I put in the first block of the third row. So this project is wild because you can see my black work improve over time, especially if you look at the back. Like this top row is a mess. Not that it really matters, not that really anyone cares. But now that I'm down to the third row, you can see how much I've improved. Probably because I worked on the chessboard, giant chessboard, for 3 years. So obviously my black work skills have improved. But I am looking forward to making a bunch of progress on this because it has sat in my whip pile for quite a long time, and I am trying not to have more than one blackwork project at a time, and there's so much in my stash that I want to work on, so I gotta get progress on this one so that I can pull out new projects. So that was all of my stitching from August and September. That was a lot. That was 18 distinct projects. So let me reorganize a little bit here. And then I have some stuff to show you from my Do Stuff rotation. I have haul, I have plans, I have lots of stuff to show you still. Okay, in August, I decided to play a little bit of catch up with my Do Stuff rotation because I had a lot of things that had been called that I hadn't gotten to yet. So, first thing that I did was I had an FFO day with a friend. She came and basically held my hand as I panicked my way through FFOing some projects. So the first thing that I finished was this project right here. This is a gift for my mom. I'll probably give it to her for Christmas, probably, maybe her birthday, I don't know, probably Christmas. And she is a writer, so I just thought it was fitting. If you can't read that, it says, "If a story is in you, it has to come out," by William Faulkner. And this backing fabric actually came from my mom's fabric stash, so I thought that was extra special. I didn't choose it only for that. Excuse me. But I thought that made it really fitting. So I had like half FFO'd this already, and so I decided to bite the bullet and get it done. So I had like one of these boards covered, the other one I had cut but not covered, and I had this flat done, but I didn't have any trims figured out. So I finally figured all of that out, and I'm so pleased with how it came out. It was very stressful, but I really, really love how it came out. Next thing I FFO'd might be my favorite thing I've ever FFO'd. No, that's not true. The dinosaurs that I did for my cousins, baby. That's my favorite. But this might be my second favorite that I've ever FFO'd. I had this one also like almost done in my box, but not quite done. So this was really pleasing to get out of my finished box. I finished Cotton-Headed Knitty Muggins. So really all I had done was I had the cross stitch like in the hoop, and the rest I did in August. So I picked out this backing fabric and attached that to the back, and then picked out all the trims and glued them on, and found a ribbon for the hanger, and I'm so stupidly pleased by this. I cannot wait to put it on my Christmas tree. And finally, another one that I had like almost sort of done. This was Be Well and Stitch 2020 piece, and I had a frame like already picked out for it, that I must have just been like, oh look, I have a frame that's the exact size of this project. So I like sort of loosely put it in the frame, but like it wasn't taut or anything in the frame. And so I pulled it out. It also wasn't trimmed, so it like had all the fabric coming out of the end. It was not displayed. It was just sitting like this in my finished box. So I pulled it out. I fixed it all up. I put a bunch of like batting underneath here so that it had a little bit of a puff to it. And it's, you know, it's not like the most stunning finish ever. Like I couldn't get these. I don't even know if you can see them. The fabric is kind of, ow. Just hit myself in the tooth. The fabric is like kind of wrinkly. I couldn't get all the wrinkles out. But you know what? It's in a frame and I can display it. It's in my front hall. So that's delightful. Okay, next in my Do Stuff rotation, I pulled diamond painting. And I had this piece already started, and so I worked on it quite a bit in August. And I honestly didn't want to put it away. I was really, really enjoying working on it. And I made a ton of progress. A ton of progress. I also bought some more diamond painting supplies because I enjoyed working on this so much. I know it's not going to be my last diamond painting. I'm picky with my like diamond painting projects though. Like a lot of diamond painting projects are like weird and not my style. I mean, I'm sorry to say weird. If they're your style, that's awesome. They are not my style. And so this one though is awesome. It's so cool looking. And I know there are plenty out there that will excite me. I just have to find them. I'm not gonna sit here and roll this back up for you. I'm just gonna throw this to the side. Okay. Next, I started a counted canvas project. And I currently like don't have this or my Bargello projects in my like cross stitch whip pile, but I think in the future I probably will. It's cross stitch adjacent enough that I'm probably just gonna put this in my cross stitch whip pile. So I'll put a picture. Actually, do I have the cover photo here? Yes, I do. I don't even have to insert a picture. I have the cover photo. So this is what I started by Needle Delights Originals. And I have the full kit because I didn't want my first counted canvas to like have to figure out what all the different fibers were and how to get them correctly. So yeah, this is how far I got. I'm freaking obsessed with this, you guys. I now own several more counted cross stitch. I had already bought like several. This was just the smallest one that I had to start, but spoiler alert to my haul, I had bought another one. I loved everything about this. I love it. I will do lots more counted canvas. Really, really enjoying it. Ugh, I want to work on it right now. It was so fun. If you like doing specialty stitches and cross stitch and you've never tried counted canvas, I highly recommend it. It has not been difficult to figure out at all. And the different fibers are really not that much different from what we use in cross stitch. Don't be scared, do it. It's awesome. Speaking of, don't be scared, just do it. It's awesome. At the very, very end of September, I started working on Hardanger. So I just did a little tiny little sketch project. I'm not counting this as like enough for my do stuff rotation. I am intending to start this project. It's a free Sal by Doreen Jones. And I just wanted to like do a little scratch project just to make sure that I didn't like put in a ton of effort into this bigger one and then mess it up immediately. And I loved it. I loved it. So you'll be seeing more Hardanger from me as well. And again, probably in the future, I will start just incorporating Hardanger into my cross stitch whip pile because it's cross stitch adjacent enough that, and there's so much Hardanger that like has cross stitch and Hardanger together in the same pattern that there's no reason to not have it be in my cross stitch whip pile. So that was all my do stuff rotation. Let's move on to haul. All right, I have a lot of haul to show you guys, a lot. Primarily because I went to Galleria. So what are you gonna do at Galleria if not shop? Obviously, I was gonna shop. So first thing I got was this awesome long sleeve shirt, and it says, "I'd rather be cross stitching." I haven't washed it yet. I gotta put it in the wash so that I can take it. It definitely has the smell of like it hasn't been washed yet. So I gotta wash it so that I can wear it because it looks really comfy. All right, next I got 2 Mill Hill kits because they were on sale. So I was there with a friend, so we sort of like combined what we wanted. I think it was like 3 for buy 2 get 1 free or something. I forget, but so I got 2 and she got 1, and I got the what is it called? Fa la la llamas, Christmas llamas. Oh my god, I love them so much. So cute. And then I got an owl because I'm me. I got a very autumny owl. Everyone is completely shocked. Wow. Next, I bought this pattern last year at Galleria. This is called Arctic Ocean Mermaid by Meridian Designs. So I got the pattern last year, but they were sold out of the materials pack. So this year I grabbed it to make sure I had everything I needed when I eventually start that project. Next, I got a tiny little kit. This is called Cape Cod Light by Pam Reed of Old Colonial Designs. So that's what it looks like. And this is one of those cases where if I had just seen this kit, I would not buy this. But seeing the model was so cute and tiny, and also the eyelets in as the flowers really grabbed me. So yeah, and the anchor is over 1 and everything else is over 2. So that really grabbed me. Unfortunately, she doesn't sell her anything not in kits. Like you can't just buy the pattern. but honestly, I don't intend to do it on this fabric. I may not even do it with these flosses. I definitely won't FFO it this way. So it was annoying to spend $15 on a kit to just get this little tiny pattern, but it was cute. I couldn't resist it. Next, by Mandy Didana, I got Happy Hanukkah. Oh god, the glare is really bad. Let me take this out of the package. I was at Galleria with a friend of mine who is also Jewish, and we both got this pattern. This is unlike any Hanukkah pattern I've ever seen. So I feel like a lot of Hanukkah patterns tend to be same. And this one is very unique and very cute. I'll probably be making a few changes here and there to make it a little bit more my style, but I just think it's excellent and gorgeous. And honestly, like, even if I didn't like it and didn't want to stitch it, I feel like I just really like supporting designers who make patterns for non-Christian holidays. So thank you, Mandy Didana. I really appreciate it and wanted to support you. Okay, next from Cottage Garden, I got this awesome peacock pillow, and this is another one that I probably would not have been drawn to if I hadn't seen the model, but seeing it stitched up is just gorgeous with the thread coming out of the tail and into the beak. Ugh, I love it. It's so pretty. Next, I went to Barbie Pedal Pusher's room and was initially wooed by this pattern. It's so cute. It's so cute. All the crows are eating the pumpkins and I just can't stand it. It's so cute. And so I also got the finishing board. So I don't know if I'll be painting it black or doing something else with it, but I'll definitely be FFOing it like that. That's so cute. And then while I was there, I was wooed by, once again, another pattern that from the picture does not grab me, but absolutely grabbed me from the model. So I got that. Getting the battery signal on my camera. We'll see how far I can get. Finally, from Galleria, I was surprised and delighted to see that Textured Treasures was there. I've been following them on Instagram for quite a while, and for a long time they were only selling at like local craft fairs in Canada. And so I was like so close to messaging them and being like, how can I buy your patterns? And then they were at Galleria. So, and now they're having a website so you can actually buy from them, which is fantastic. So I went ahead, so they're mostly counted canvas. I went ahead and bought this one that really grabbed my eye earlier this year. I do not intend to do it in any of the called for colors, but I love the patterns. So I'm really excited about that. But so I didn't get the kit because I'm going to change everything. I mean, all the colors. I'm going to change the fabric color and all the fibers. And then I also got this kit. It's like really hard to see what this is. They're like little tiny blackwork and specialty stitch ornaments. So there were like a bunch of different ones, but this is the trio that I got, and I got it as a full kit, so everything I need is in there, which is very nice. And it comes with a toile, so the metallic is not awful. Yay! That was great news. All right, that was everything I got at Galleria. Next, moving on to other things I bought. Okay, I finally got cut off by my battery. I'm gonna try and go quick through the rest of this haul here. So I got a bunch of digital patterns that I want to show you. First, I was wooed by a Halloween pattern, which some of y'all may know, I'm not a big Halloween stitcher, so it is impressive to woo me with a Halloween pattern. But this thing is freaking stunning. This is a blackwork pattern by the Steady Thread, and I've been following them for a while. I really, really like their stuff. And this, I think, was originally a Sal last year, or the year before even, maybe. And it's gorgeous. And then while I was buying things from the Steady Thread, I also bought Plant Friends, and she just released a stocking, and so I got that as well. And then I guess that opened the floodgates of like, maybe I should do 13 Stitches of Halloween. I'll get to that in plans. But then I started browsing and I started buying and I couldn't stop. So I got this Library Ghost by Living on a Rainbow. And I got this Jack Crow Lantern. That's the name of the pattern. It's so cute. I don't remember the designer. I'll put that on the screen. And let's see, what else did I get? I got this little tiny Maple Leaves in a Bottle. And I'll put the designer. That is a Russian name that I am not going to try to pronounce. I'll put that on the screen. And then not Halloween related or fall related, I just saw them and really liked them and decided to get them. I got these 3 Picasso inspired animal blackwork designs by I don't remember the name of the designer. I had it in my brain and then I lost it again, so I'll put that on the screen as well. Now, back to fall and Halloween. I had to place a 1, 2, 3 stitch order for some other stuff I needed, so then of course I bought some other stuff because obviously I got this beautiful pattern by Primrose Cottage. I'm literally obsessed with this. It's so gorgeous. I think I saw this originally because Color and Cotton was doing a conversion for it, and I didn't really want to do their conversion, but I love the pattern. And next I got from Hello from Liz Matthews, I got this cutie, and I actually am gonna do a Color and Cotton conversion of this. Not published by Color and Cotton themselves, but somebody in their Facebook group posted their conversion that they did to this pattern and it was awesome, so I'm gonna do the same. So I think that was everything I bought. Holy cannoli. I'll talk about 13 Stitches of Halloween in plans, but oh boy do I have plans. But before I talk about, no, actually, I think plans is all I have left. Wait, I have one more haul thing. I was placing an order from Target online, and they had these wooden pumpkins for $5 for a set of 2, and I just thought they were so cute. I did not realize, I don't know if you can see in the packaging how thick they are. I did not realize how thick they are. Oh, here we go. They're very, very thick and sturdy. So I'll probably paint them and do an FFO on them because that's real cute. Okay, now I think all I have left is plants. Let me rearrange again and then I'll do plants. Okay, so Athena of Stitching Goddess Designs hosts 13 Stitches of Halloween every year. And I don't usually participate because Halloween is like not super duper my thing. But this year, I think I'm gonna participate. I'm only gonna do like half Halloween, the other half is gonna be autumn. But I found 13 things to stitch. So I have a few whips, and the rest are gonna be new starts. I'm gonna do 2 days per project throughout the month of October. So I already have been working on gatekeepers for the first couple of days of October, and then I'm gonna move on from that to a bunch of the things that I just showed you. I'm gonna make an Instagram post with the things that that I picked. Maybe I'll try to like put a grid on the screen of everything that I picked also. My goal for this, I had some like awesome things in my stash that were larger that I'm deciding to wait on. Like the steady thread blackwork one is awesome, but I already have a blackwork going in my whip pile. I don't really want to add another one, and it's really big. Also, the Lolo Crow Haunted Library, I've been desperate to start, but it's just not the right time to start that right now. So I picked things that were on the smaller side for the most part, and things that I felt like even if I don't finish them now, I'll finish them, you know, pretty soon into next year probably. They shouldn't hang out in my whip pile for more than a year. So, yeah, I'm gonna do it. But because that's gonna take up quite a bit of my October, I need to at least finish my rainbow blackwork whip rotation goal. That's 2,000 stitches, which when I count blackwork, I count each leg as a half stitch. So that's a lot of work, and I'm only about like 300 stitches into my 2,000 stitch goal. So I've allocated like 4 days, I think, throughout October to trying to get that finished, but 4 days is not a lot of time for 2,000 stitch goal. So I gotta get my butt in gear and really buckle down on that. So that's my stitching plans for October. I also have some stuff in my do stuff rotation that I'd like to work on in October. So my October is gonna be like really kind of weird because I have a bunch of time that I'm gonna be like in other environments that are not home. So I'm not committing to working on all of this in October. This is just what I'm hoping to get to if I can. I'd like to do some fall and Halloween FFOing. In my do stuff rotation, I have an FFO for a pillow. I still have to do it like a pillow finish. And I have 3 fall and autumn things that I would like to do, fall and Halloween things that I would like to do pillow finishes on. If I'm gonna get my sewing machine out, I might as well do all of them at once. So here's what I've picked out. I have this pattern that is front and back cross stitch, and I picked out this really pretty chenille to go with it around the edges. And then I have Nevermore, and I have a beautiful coordinating orange velvet to go on the back of that. And then I have Happy Jack, and I'm gonna do a black velvet on the back of this with probably a purple trim. I have some purple chenille that would look good, and also purple palms, so I will make a game time decision which one will work the best. Maybe I'll do palms just because I did chenille in the other one. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll be in the chenille groove. Who knows? Oh, I also have a purple rickrack I could use, but I'm guessing that I won't pick this. We'll see. So I have that. Then I have, in my do stuff rotation, I have a felt project. And I have this pattern by, here's the pattern, here's the designer. I don't remember it off the top of my head. And because it's so fall themed, I would really like to work on it now instead of putting it off. So I have purchased all of the felt required for it and all of the other materials that I need. So I don't know. I'm really, really, really gonna try to get to that in October. Next, I'm guessing I'm not gonna get to this in October, but it's like next up in the rotation after I finish the felt and the Hardanger. Good God. I'm so done for. Anyway, I'm going to try crochet for the first time. I got this adorable little mini dinosaur kit. I am very scared of crochet, but I'm gonna do it and it's gonna be great. Okay. Are those all the plans I had to tell you about? I think those were all the plans. All the plans. So I have like, I don't know, maybe 7 projects left in my whip rotation that I haven't gotten to. Let's double check together here. I have 1 from 2019, not including Rainbow Black work that's unfinished. So 1 from 2019, 2 from 2020 that are both Christmas whips, so I would be happy for those to wait until December to get called. And then I have 2 from 2021 that have not been called, including the pandemic sampler that I might be okay with saying has already been done. And then 2 from 2022, one of which also a winter whip. And then some from 2023 that, you know, were new starts this year that I would like to get to a second time, but not earth-shattering without. So, disregarding 2023, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 whips that have not yet been called by my rotation, including Pandemic Sampler. So, I think that's probably doable for November and December, but that means that I may not be able to have a bunch of new Christmas starts and winter and Hanukkah starts like I did last year. I might need to focus on the ones that are currently in my whip pile, which, you know, maybe we can alternate years, having like a big start crazy with Halloween and fall versus winter and winter holidays. Because who cares about spring and summer? They're not for me. So yeah, this video has been quite the wild ride. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm so tired now and I'm so hungry. And I'm probably gonna edit this video tomorrow because I would like to eat food and become a puddle now. Thanks for hanging out with me so much. I will see you in the next video. And oh, also, I don't think I mentioned that I filmed my my video about the time tracking app that I've been working on. I know I've been promising it for a long time, but I finally filmed it. So hopefully that will go up at the same time as this video. So take a look at that. Also, if you're interested, and otherwise, I'll see you again with my October updates at the beginning of November. Bye, y'all.